Previously, we finished with Side A of Bowneck's exciting tale, Race to Oblivion. A thrilling ride through deserts, tornadoes, purgatory, the vaudeville era, and into minds longing to be superhuman while stuck in broken bodies. And also the promise to explain the myth of the two sides of music albums. Well, back in the days, music was distributed on monstrous black circles that had thin grooves on them. A shiny metal thingy rode along these grooves, picking up the sound and sending it to a giant umbrella. The length of those circling grooves was up to 460 meters, but still only about 23 to 25 minutes fit on such a surface. After years of testing, scientists found that you can turn the circle around and use the backside for the same purpose. Now musicians were able to record longer albums, but they had to split them into two parts. Instead of throwing tantrums about this, artists embraced this limitation. And many became creative by giving each of the two sides a distinct character and different flavor. And so did Bowneck on their hotly celebrated masterpiece, Race to Oblivion. As the last wild tracks of Side A prepared your tiny virgin ears for ever harder, gut-wrenching guitar sounds, Side B packs now even more of a wallop. This is because of an old technique of tuning down your instrument to become more evil. Already in the Middle Ages, probably, many witches dabbled in these dark arts and were burned at the stake for tuning down their guitars to those forbidden soundscapes. But these down-tuned guitars just guarantee way more brutal sounds. They are especially effective for brutal riffs. A signature of Bowneck's guitarists, those riffs can invoke the feeling of falling down a slope or cliff. Thus the title of the first track on Side B, Falling. But to be taken seriously as an evil son of a gun, in addition to tuning down, you also need to fry your vocal cords by screaming and growling. Side B rolls on with Rolling, an anthem designed for grand stadiums that guitar bands used to play in the before times. And so did Bowneck, as you can clearly see from this footage. In order to convincingly portray these rock anthems, it was recommended for male presenters to wear their hair at a longer length, and thereby state that they do not agree with the rules and regulations of the society they live in. Since young women, before their time of ripening, are infatuated with rebellious male subjects, this caused rock protagonists to enjoy many shared bodily experiences with different females, which were denoted by the technical term Gro U Pies. But a word of advice to our male viewers, be very careful. You can only afford such a long hairstyle in combination with success and money. Without those elements, the long hair will probably work to your disadvantage and might leave you without any coital partner at all, doomed to a life of gloom and loneliness. If you still dare to risk the life as a long-haired male primate, you can at least experience other benefits. The long hair can be used to be shaken rhythmically to the matches of the music, or even be swung in circles at high rounds per minute to create a windmill effect. But careful again, this so-called headbanging can lead to severe injuries in the neck area, like a cervical myelopathy seen here in an MRI of the neck of the Bowneck singer. Well, he didn't see the irony coming when he gave the band this name, did he now? But what can you do? You have to rock on, and maybe no track on the album rocks as hard as track number 12, or 3 on Side B if you like, the dark horse of the album. Unfix My Eyes.
So no intentions are lasting long enough. What I am doing here is me. I'm tough, if only I was not so whole. I would commit to please my taste.
But skin sounded just to make me faint.
So you will have to let me go. Cause I cannot unfix my eyes from the clock.
This track has been mercilessly kicked into submission and overproduced for so long that it might have accidentally become the best track on the whole CD. A CD? Now what is that? Well, before Spotify made sure musicians don't get money for their music, there were record producers doing this job. For having the music pressed onto the large black circles first, and later small silver circles, and distributing the physical containers to the paying customers, they generously took 90% of the money so that the artists could keep focusing on their music. The customers would place such a silver circle called CD or concrete dish into specific players designed for this purpose. Just ask your grandparents. They might still own such a device, and should you decide to purchase Bowneck's almighty album, you will find such a physical round shape in the wrapping that you can play on your grandparents' concrete dish player. What an experience! Should you find more of these objects in your house or at your grandparents' house, you can now dispose of them without hesitation, since this is the only round silver shape you will ever need henceforth. The last tracks of the music album often are special songs. For the penultimate track, Bowneck decided to remix their biggest hit, which featured a video viewed by thousands of people. The video shows a journey through the four elements, exploring the outskirts of the human brain reached through the enjoyment of certain substances, or through the precursor of sleeping cycles. Extraordinary states in which the brain finds connections to the wisdom of the hive mind. With all the makings to become a hard rock anthem, this track did not do that. But thank God the remix is now here, so Bowneck will have a video with better sound and considerably less views.
Bring that thing back, my brain is at its best when I am doing it to the train back. Next time that I'm high, I will just want to make a bomb on a racetrack, so I can light without looking for the deal in the record back. But oh, the rules just won't apply for a straight edge.
For the final track of an album, it has been a very short tradition to pick the song of another artist and play it in your own style, so that the people realize it is not your playing why you're unsuccessful, but your writing. This cover song should be the rendition of a well-known popular hit to help your marketing. So of course Bowneck chose the track only known to listeners of the late 1990s era of house music. It is possible they occasionally went too far with their reinterpretation of their source material.
So deep that I can't sleep. The pills are cheap, but the bills are steep. So I look at 50 who's and a slave try to snooze, but who's dreaming? I mean, this is win or lose. Put down the drink, try not to think, let it go. Fundamental movement below while your reality's dreaming. Just below my skin, I'm screaming.
Still, the final track remains an impressive feat, rounding up an impeccable assortment of melodious miracles, so that at the end of this compilation, you will realize you have in your possession a flawless masterpiece that transcends the time it came from. It symbolizes the end of an era and the beginning of a renaissance. It's Bowneck's Race to Oblivion. It's something to write home about.